One of the duties of the Real Estate Commission is to conduct a public meeting. In Maryland, these are offered on the third Wednesday of every month at 10:30 a.m. You are welcome to join me and listen in. This is going to be a video where I summarize what they spoke about during their meeting that was offered on February 21st, 2024. To attend these meetings on the third Wednesday of every month at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, simply visit the Maryland Real Estate Commission website, click on Board Business, and then just click on the link where you will be able to listen in. You do have the opportunity to present to them during the public comments section. Here, my disclaimer is this is what I heard. So, what that means is next month, you will be able to go and check out the minutes posted on their website. Definitely a good read for you to check out what they spoke about in the previous meetings. You are welcome to check out the videos that we have created. We shall present the link up above for you to check out the previous sessions, what they spoke about. The meeting started off with motions being requested and passed to approve the complaints and minutes from the previous month. There were about 22 to 23 of us that were in attendance. We went through listening to various reports from the different committees, starting off with education. We went through legislative, or the laws that are going to be coming up in 2024. And then we heard from the executive director as well in terms of what the Real Estate Commission is working on. We also finished off with the public comments. I hope to see you there the next month. At the top of the agenda, we usually start off with the education report. This is my favorite, where we get to go through the numbers. In the month of January 2024, 742 individuals went to take the salesperson exam. This might have been the first time or the seventh time. There's no limit as to how many times you can go and take the exam. The limit is only on the time that you have to get this done. What that means is the time limit is 1 year from the completion of the course. The numbers of interest to me is I am excited, and congratulations up front to these individuals. 252 people went to take the exam for the first time. Out of that 252, 89 individuals passed on the first try. Congratulations again to you. When we speak of the exam, let's break it down for you. It is one exam with two parts. Part 1 is going to cover national or general content. On the salesperson exam, there are 80 questions. National just means, for example, the term joint tenants is the same whether you're in Maryland or California. The other part of the exam is specific to our state. In Maryland, that part offers you 30 questions on the salesperson exam. So let's see how we're doing in our state of Maryland. The report shared indicated 41 individuals went to take the Maryland part of the exam for the first time. Out of those 41 individuals, 27 of you passed on the first try. Congratulations. Some of us want to become the boss one day. These are individuals who are going to go through the broker course, 135 hours. They have been licensed for at least 3 years, and now they're going through the final step of passing the broker real estate exam. Here are the numbers. In the month of January 2024, 38 broker exams were administered. That number is significantly lower than the 63 that went to take the exam January 2023. 14 individuals that went to take the broker exam for the first time, 8 of them passed. Congratulations. It was reported that 8 licensed individuals took the Maryland part of the broker exam for the first time. 5 out of these 8 passed on the first try. Congratulations to you. These individuals are definitely excited. Congratulations again. 263 people passed and are now ready to get their license. To the 263 that passed, want to remind us that we have 1 year to do something. If you're looking to get your salesperson license or your broker license, definitely affiliate with a broker within this 1 year time frame. We definitely don't want to be taking that course again. The person who's looking to become a broker and start your brokerage, get that paperwork done. You also have 1 year from the moment you passed the exam. To maintain and renew our real estate license, one big thing is to complete our continuing education classes. The license is good for 2 years. We're required to complete 15 hours, a minimum of 15 hours. Let me do a quick review. Any individual who got their license before October 2023, you know the continuing education requirement for salespeople. It includes you completing 3 hours on legislative or reviewing what are the laws that have come about that we need to be aware of as we're conducting our business in real estate. Code of Ethics, 3 hours. 3 hours on the topic of brokerage relationship and disclosure, BRAD. Some of us will label that still as agency. Fair housing, minimum of 1.5 hours. In previous videos, you might have heard me use the acronym LEAF, legislative topic, ethics, agency, fair housing. Those are the mandatory topics, which leaves 4.5 hours elective topics for a salesperson. Individuals who are supervising others have 1 extra class. Extra doesn't mean that it is more than 15 hours. It is still within the 15 hours required of continuing education within a 2-year cycle. Remember, this is a minimum of 15 hours. You can always take more. Those who supervise others, brokers, team leaders, or managers are required to still take legislative topic, ethics, brokerage relationship, minimum of 3 hours, fair housing, minimum 1.5 hours. Within that 15 hours, the topic they're required to take is broker supervision. That leaves 1.5 hours minimum on elective topics. Here's what is different for an individual who gets their license after October 1st, 2023. For the first cycle, meaning you got your license on January the 30th, you have 2 years to complete your continuing education. Minimum is 15 hours. However, your topic, since you got your license after October 1st, 2023, are going to be different. What do they include? 3 hours on the topic of contracts, advertising, and brokerage relationship and disclosure, including seller disclosure. We then have 3 hours on property management. So 4 classes, each one of them are 3 hours in review, contracts, advertising, brokerage relationship and disclosure, seller disclosures, and property management. The remaining 3 hours is broken into 1.5 classes, which are on professionalism, and the last topic is on financing. After your renewal, which is going to be January the 30th, 2026, because you've gotten your 2 years. After that, you will default to the required hours as a salesperson. And then if you've updated or upgraded your license, you're going to be doing what we call the regular continuing education for brokers, team leaders, and or managers. This meeting focused on one of the classes that is required to be completed by an individual who got their license after October 1st, 2023 for their first licensure renewal cycle. This class is a brokerage relationship and disclosure, seller disclosure course. I know, a mouthful. Let's call it P.R.E.S.S, SD for seller disclosure. Here's where we stand on this particular topic or course. The P.R.E.S.S course, the material is owned by the Realistic Commission. The law requires that there be a conversation about seller disclosure. Therefore, the Realistic Commission will be enhancing the current course that we currently have to include conversations about disclosures. One of the disclosures is the disclosure disclaimer statement, which is also being worked on and being updated. Therefore, once everything is sorted out, there's going to be an outline presented, there's going to be training that's going to be conducted for people such as myself to be able to teach this particular course. So stay tuned, I'll keep you posted. We turn our attention to hear about what are the laws that piqued the interest of the Realistic Commission that might affect your business in 2024. This has been discussed multiple times. Definitely check out the playlist that we have of the previous Realistic Commission meetings. As we progress on this topic about having a radon test required for all transfer of residential properties, and also apartments. So if you're a tenant, this would be something that might be of interest to you, or a landlord. Where we are is that they have started to draft the bill and get it ready to be presented in the 2025 legislative session. Background and fingerprinting checks for all licensees continues. The conversation continues. Where we stand is that this month of February 2024, they're going to be listening and learning from the Maryland State Police how they conduct background and fingerprinting, whether they're going to be collaborating and it's going to be done by them. I will definitely keep you posted. The residential property disclosure disclaimer statement, which is one of those seller disclosures that a seller would be filling out if they're not exempt, is going through an update. Where we stand is that they have gone through it. They're tweaking the last few things that need to be done. Most likely, it is going to be shared in the March meeting. As you're working towards passing your Maryland real estate exam, we have 2 resources for you. P.R.E.S.S, Pass Real Estate Exam in Simple Steps, and the Maryland Real Estate Exam Study Guide. Both are found on our website, trainingwithbrenda.com. The Maryland Real Estate Exam Study Guide will focus on the Maryland part of the exam, with 30 questions on the salesperson and 40 questions on the broker exam. We offer you practice questions to review the content, exclusive video playlist for visual learners, study outline and tips, and extensive topic review to make sure that you pass the 6 parts of the exam. As you look to pass the National Real Estate Exam, look no further. Pass Real Estate Exam in simple steps. P.R.E.S.S is a platform that will offer you weekly practice questions, weekly live 30 minutes with a qualified instructor to answer your questions or do a review, self-paced material for you to review the content, practice questions on all the 11 topics on the exam, and a practice exam to simulate what you might experience when you go sit for the licensing exam. We give you 3 days to check it out and decide whether it's the one for you. Go to trainingwithbrenda.com. One of the responsibilities per the Code of Ethics for a licensee is to make sure that we are aware of upcoming proposed legislation or regulations that are going to impact my client's interest. House Bill 273 is a law that's being proposed to regulate the managers of homeowners association and condos by creating a state board or commission that's going to govern them. What this law is proposing is that anyone who does management of a HOA or condo, a board is created or commission under Department of Labor, and they're going to oversee that these individuals are licensed and the consequences of them not following rules. We shall see where that will end up. The next one of interest is Senate Bill 542, that it is being proposed in the real estate brokerage agreements. Here, an agreement between the seller, landlord, and the broker, between the buyer, tenant, and the broker. Those employment agreements have certain requirements. The focus here is expansion and clarity on compensation from the client to the broker and termination of these agreements. Senate Bill 564 was proposed by Maryland Realtors. This one is asking licensees to complete their continuing education within 30 days of their expiration date. Let me know whether you like this one, because here we would need to complete our CE 30 days before our license expires. And I know some of us wait until the last minute. Share your thoughts in the comments. Lastly, Senate Bill 461, also proposed by Maryland Realtors, is to make it possible as we work amongst ourselves and police each other in our industry. Advertising is one of those things that is very difficult to track because things move a little bit quicker than other things. For example, if I'm posting on social media, something could disappear in 24 hours. What is being proposed is that as we police each other, we're going to be able to file those complaints anonymously. However, it is only going to carve out violations to do with advertising and not all complaints. Share your thoughts. Let me know whether you like this one. Put it in the comments. We, or rather myself, representing Maryland Real Estate Educators Association and one of the instructors here in Maryland, would like to congratulate Raquel Myers for becoming the executive director of the Maryland Real Estate Commission. She was serving as the interim for a couple of months. Now she has that position. We heard from her what's happening in that department. Here's the update to the upcoming increase of the fees. The proposal was posted on the Maryland Register for public comment. The due date to make the comment has expired. Therefore, we're moving on to the next step, where very soon we're going to know when these fees are going to be in effect. Here's a snapshot of what the fees are going to be. Of interest to some of us is you're getting your salesperson's license. This is the fee that's going to be charged when you get your salesperson's license, $101. If you're going to be upgrading your license to become a broker in our state of Maryland, the first time that license is given to you, you're going to pay $213. When you're going to be renewing that license, coming soon as a salesperson, it will be $78. And if I use the same example, to those of us who have a broker license, the fee will be $191. This is a part that I enjoy and like when I attend this meeting, is where we get to know how many of us have a Maryland real estate license. This is everyone. We are 49,211 that have a Maryland real estate license. The breakdown is 40,914 individuals have the salesperson's license here in Maryland. 3,188 of us are associate brokers. These are individuals such as myself who took the broker course 135 hours, have been licensed for at least 3 years, and then went and passed the broker real estate exam. Brokers in the state of Maryland currently are 4,317. These are individuals such as myself. I have 2 licenses where again, took the broker course 135 hours, passed the broker exam, been licensed at least 3 years, and then we started our own brokerage. The other number that is shared during the meeting is how much do we have in the Guaranty Fund. As of December 2023, the balance is $1,306,982. If you're interested to learn more about the Guarantee Fund, please check out the video that we did to the Real Estate Commission meeting for the month of December. As we try different things to these particular videos, let me know if you like, where I am going to just share extra stuff that they spoke about that might be of interest to you. The first one that comes to mind is you might be asking, okay, when are these fees going to be in effect? We don't have the answer right now. I hope that when they know the effective date, we shall get an email. If not, I will definitely let you know as soon as I find out. Another thing that piqued my interest is the complaints process. The Real Estate Commission #1 job is to protect the public. And one way to do that is for the public to submit a complaint when we do not follow the rules. And the complaint process currently is where the individual will go to the website, fill out a form, and then submit whatever is required. However, what has been happening is people go, submit a complaint, but they don't have the document to support that complaint, and therefore it just sits in limbo because they need that. What they're trying to do, and we'll see whether they'll put this as something that it's gonna be moving forward. Right now they're testing it out, is where they're not going to have the online submission. Instead, people will have to mail in their complaint and their documents. Hopefully, that's going to help with the complaints process. I'm not sure. I will keep you posted. This being a public meeting, the Real Estate Commission will take time to also caution us licensees based on the cases or complaints that they have been receiving. And two stand out. One is the licensee to confirm that the earnest money deposit that has been presented by their buyer has been delivered to whomever that's supposed to hold it. Whether it's a broker or the title company, we as licensees are to confirm that. In addition to confirmation is also to make sure that the money has cleared as well. For example, if the buyer wrote a check. The second thing is we should not be given access to a property without permission. What does that look like? If a buyer calls me, especially when it's a vacant property, and I have the combination number or letters to the lockbox that's holding the key, I'm not able to meet the buyer for whatever reason, I cannot just give you, dear buyer, the access to the property without permission. I need to be there with you or get permission from the listing agent who will get permission from the seller. If you have experienced that, I encourage you to file a complaint. Very interesting meeting. Share with me what you liked that we shared in this particular meeting. What you didn't like, definitely let me know. Put in the comments. We shall be in touch. If you're working towards passing that real estate exam, all the best. And I will probably see you in a continuing education class. Until next time, subscribe and share with your friends.